I'm Javier, and this is a box. It took us a lot of hard work to get it, but we're glad to own it.
We're seniors at Oxford High School, Oxford, Alabama.
Oxford is a community that cares about education and makes sure that students and teachers have what they need.
Sometimes what we need is a change, and Oxford City Schools is willing to try new things to improve our education.
One of these new things is Student-Led Conference.
Student-led conferences are an opportunity for students to demonstrate to parents or guardians their growth through the year, what they learn, assessments, scores, and new abilities and more.
It's more than that, though. It's an opportunity for us, the students, to take charge in a meeting about our education. It's not the teacher's education, it's ours. Shouldn't we be able to present the skills we've tried to improve? Shouldn't we lead our own learning? Shouldn't we be able to direct which way we go next? I have a voice.
Exactly. I wanted to own my education.
I did too. We all did. That's why we worked hard to turn this box.
What's common with these students, and with others at Oxford High School, is a growing understanding of how that student-led conferences gives them an opportunity to own their education. Let's follow this group of students to find out more as they speak to various teachers around Oxford High School, and also take an inside look into some student-led conferences that took place in fall 2016.
Take a look to see what we have in Student-Led Conference. Communication.
Oxford City Schools organized, Oxford High School implemented, homeroom teacher hosted, student-led. In student-led conferences, students shed light to parents and guardians on all they are learning, being challenged with, and accomplishing. Mr. Fuller describes how Oxford High School teachers modeled proactive communication by helping make the event happen.
Well, one of the things that we did for student-led conferences is contact every parent of all of our students. And in order to do that, we had to divide up the students into groups. So every teacher was assigned to call the parents of his homeroom. So that breaks it down to about 20 to 25 students per teacher. And sometimes if a teacher had a larger homeroom group, then another teacher was assigned that didn't have a homeroom, so it was divided up. So, for example, I had another teacher help me contact the 8 students in my homeroom, and her name is Miss Martin. And so she and I both called the parents, and we got everybody contacted. And with all the teachers working together like that, then we had more parent contacts in that amount of time, in a short amount of time than we've ever had before at Oxford High School.
What do mirrors and student-led conferences have in common? Well, they both reflect. In student-led conferences, students own reflection. They reflect on their past. They reflect on their challenges, shortcomings, and their successes.
In science, I'm struggling. Like the teachers are helping me do this. Like they'll let me stay after class.
I should focus on the reading assignment and give it my best instead of only trying on half of it.
Science. So what are you doing in science to help yourself in science?
Missing the target isn't fun, but hitting your miss. Can you tell me more about daily learning targets?
Okay, the daily learning targets are supposed to help kids know where they're going so that they can actually achieve mastery. The idea is by the time they get to the student-led conference, they have an understanding of what they've been working on and how they're progressing towards that goal.
Schools done right means students own the learning process. Ms. Shelton, how do students own the learning process?
During the student-led conferences, the students have a chance to talk to their parents about how they attack learning for themselves, how they attack their own learning process. So without students buying into their own learning process, there's really no way for them to get where they need to be. So students take this chance to explain to their parents how they ask questions whenever they don't understand, to go to their teacher and let them know that they're getting behind. They take this opportunity to let their parents know about tutoring opportunities that they have taken advantage of, or tutoring opportunities that they could take advantage of. So it's really just a time for them to sit down with their parents and talk about how they are taking ownership of their own learning process and what they're doing for themselves. And if they're not doing things for themselves, what can they start to do for themselves to take that ownership?
A ruler. How did I do on the ACT, the work keys, the CFAs? Students own their assessments, their scores in the student-led conference. Ms. Houston, How do students own their assessment scores in student-led conferences?
During the student-led conference, the students are responsible for showing someone who's important to them how they've achieved growth over time.
And overall was a 433, and that's out of a scale of 431 to 435.
Like 4 questions, like what does my data tell me that I'm ready for like most of my skills that I'm doing, and then my goals are to try to do better at science.
Chemistry, my class average was 92.63. We take these little tests every now and then, and so these are my percentages for those. The pre-test, I got a 70. The post-test, I got a 90.
Patrick, you have to think outside of the box.
When a student begins to take charge of his or her learning, he or she might realize something like, I need X class, or I didn't learn B skill. Miss Shadricks, I've got this down. You want me to help Cameron? These are all great things to see students admit in student-led conferences.
Oh, here it is. I asked Miss Liu about what it takes to be a leader in student-led conferences.
Students show leadership by analyzing their own data and presenting it to their parents.
I've got Coach right here. He's probably about as organized as they come, possibly in this school. Coach, how do students own organization in student-led conferences?
Student-led conferences are leading kids to manage their data so they can present it to their teachers, to their parents, and being very organized with the information that they have to present is paramount for them to be successful in what they're doing.
Mr. Moore, so we love soccer, and it takes a lot of work to balance practices and games with our schoolwork.
Mr. Moore, what kind of involvements do students talk about in student-led conference?
Well, we talk about a lot of different things. Students can get involved in sports, extracurriculars, internships through Career Tech, all types of things students can get involved in.
Thank you.
OHS students are involved in all kinds of very successful academic, extracurricular, vocational, and community activities. Each is very rewarding. What's great is when students realize that these activities go hand in hand with academics, and that having control of my learning in the classroom helps me to have the discipline for the field, court, lab, stage, or work environment.
No one can really give me success. I have to do success on my own. And student-led conferences are a way for me to own my success. Miss Word, what do students do to own their success?
Setting goals and sharing those accomplishments of those goals with others.
I know. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you think you want to study?
I'm saying like I want to go to a big college,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to do something related to sports.
So I plan to attend South Alabama, or my basics, then maybe transfer to Auburn University. I'm a pharmacist.
So what do you want to be when you grow up?
What?
You want to do something related to sports, but that could be sports medicine.
Not like that. I mean like you know, on TV, like people talk about sports,
Or like a commentator.
Yeah, or like playing sports. You know.
Look what I have here, a college acceptance letter.
There's one more thing though. Reflection, the growth process, current success, planning goals. What about students owning their future? Yes, they can own the future too in student-led conferences. During the spring of 2017, Oxford High School has decided to combine student-led conferences with advising. OHS students are learning more daily about how beginning to take ownership of learning away from the teacher, away from the school, and even away from the system actually helps them capitalize on every moment they can spend discussing evidence of their growth and finding how they best need to measure out every step of the way in order to shore up future plans.
You've put a lot of work into everything in that box. You need to feel happy about what you've done and celebrating your efforts.
Thanks for joining us at our look at student-led conferences at Oxford High School.
Hopefully you heard what student-led conferences are all about.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. The big O of student-led conferences is ownership.
The big O!